Hi there and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we are going to get into Volume 6, Episode 1 of my scrapbooks. And we're starting out with Mirage, which if I have not mentioned 1,000 times before, is probably my favorite era of Stevie. It's definitely the time I began to get into Fleetwood Mac. I'd seen the Gypsy video and I really got into her during Wild Heart, but I was already completely enamored with the Gypsy and the Hold Me video especially, and not realizing that that's the same woman who's in the band, who is solo. So I think maybe I bought the record, maybe my mom had. I'm just 45, so not the whole LP. But as I've begun collecting and just gotten more, it's around the time of getting into her. So I think it's really special to me. And I think that's why I love Mirage so much. Plus, I really like the album a lot. So without further ado, this is kind of a slow, kind of a lot of the same photo, but you'll bear with me. You'll understand why and kind of have a giggle. But before I start, I found yet another picture of Lindsay that I think should have gone with the Law and Order photos. I think this is an outtake of the cover. And also I stumbled on the name that George Hurrell was trying to get kind of out of Lindsey Buckingham to try and emulate, and that was an actor named Johnny Weissmuller, who played Tarzan in a long time ago. So I'm old, but it's probably even shyly before my parents' time. So it's quite a ways back there. But he was a very famous actor and of his day, and he definitely did kind of get that image out of Lindsay in these pictures. If you're so inclined to look it up or are a Lindsay fan and didn't know that. So that was one picture that I had. And additionally, I forgot I had this additional picture by Richard Armas of Stevie, which I believe went with the other photos that I showed you, if not earlier. This could be back to Tusk era. I've actually never really been sure of what year this photo is. But funny enough, I think maybe in my Belladonna book, I had a photo of Stevie with Mary. And I think it was of the same session. It could be, I'm not actually sure where it's at, if I've shown it already. But anyway, I think it went with it. It's an adorable picture of her. The little side ponytail, very Chrissy Snow of Three's Company. Very 70s. That's kind of why I think it's a little bit maybe earlier than I think, but I'm really not sure. So anyway, those were two lingers. There's always lingers. I have a whole pile in front of me that I know goes back, 4 and 5 books. That's why I'm always going to have something for you in the future. So it's never going to end. I guarantee it. And especially if I keep buying stuff, that's going to make it all the worse. So starting with Mirage, this is a page I made again in 97, 98 thereabouts, because again, I had the LP or the CD long box. And if you heard me tell the stories, I just thought it would be so cool to have all these to begin the chapters of each era of Fleetwood Mac. So nothing really unusual, although again, long boxes are hard to come by. So it is cool that I have the few that I do. And on the flip side, I'm confident is as well a page made there at the same time. I don't want to call it lazy, but I'm certainly a little bit more intuitive and interested to collage and put things separately, and I probably would have trimmed this so Christine wasn't all the way blocked out. Dumb stuff like that. This is from a German magazine, which again, I'm not even sure that did I cut this up? I'm not sure. It's definitely glued down, so I'll never know. I'm not sure if it's an article that I had, or that's why she's not covered up. Lindsay's loose in there. Lindsay's running loose. I guess that happened because I found this photo to go with this one. So I've probably gotten this one since I made this photo eons ago. And this little review on Mirage, I'm actually not sure where it's from. It looks like a Xerox, so it's probably something I got out of a book, or way back when I was initially doing these things, that I was corresponding with people and would get copies of stuff. So that was the introduction page to Mirage. Moving on from that was, again, so this picture, actually kind of funny. It's just not quite the same, but as you can see, maybe it is. Maybe this is sepia. Hard to say. Anyway. And again, I think this might even be Lindsay later. I think this might be a two, I'm not entirely sure this is a Mirage picture. But again, this page was pretty early on. A really cool promo, not promo, press kit photo, I would say, or press photo, with that whole lineup. And it was from 1983, and it was for HBO. It's a press kit photo from HBO about having the the Mirage special on TV. So it was kind of a cool. Light is very bright today. Light is very strange today. I do apologize. On the back, just kind of an unusual little full page ad thing. This probably should go closer to the end of the book because I'm not sure when this came out. It's definitely the Mirage Penguin, but it's a holiday, wishing you a happy holiday season. And I have to look at my notes to remember when Mirage came out. But I'm guessing this is something that would have come out later that year. This was a cool little thing to have. These are some random pictures which were stuck in between, so I can only assume that I was going to be putting these in a particular spot in these pages, because I'm not like that. Like if they're in a certain area, that's probably where I want them to be when I do the scrapbooking stuff. Who knows? Who knows how long they've been there? And then this one is really nice. I'm not sure who took this picture. Maybe Sam Emerson. I'm not sure, but this one is one I've had a really long time. And this is by Paul Canty. And it's a little bit larger than an 8x10. It's super cute of Stevie and Mick. Again, I'm not sure about this one either. Or am I? No, there's no date on the back. Then a really nice, again, like I did with the, what did I have? I think I had the Belladonna one. It was really cool to get this, especially because I'm from the Bay Area. This full page ad thing. Sorry, I picked up 2 pages. Full page ad for Oakland, Fleetwood Mac in Oakland. Had I known, I would have given I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you how much I wish I had been there. If I could definitely go back in time. Of course, I'd see Fleetwood Mac way earlier, but if I could only see one, I'd definitely start with the Mirage tour. Kind of crinkled because it's old, but I'm grateful to have it. And this, I think, was something out of, this is all together, and I wanted to say this was out of a British magazine. It was one of those kind of like newspaper ones that folded up. And I don't know if you can make this out. I think I've seen this. This is like a diorama, kind of like, I've seen the front of this in other pictures, but it's of the band. I wish you could see the front of it instead of the back, but I think they're all, it looks like John, Lindsay, Stevie, and Mick. I don't see Christine in this one, but it's just kind of a cool little, the picture's cool altogether of Lindsay, but I just love this little, and then it almost looks like in the picture, like the seating of the venue, like almost like a stage setup or something like that. So just kind of cool. But I wish I could remember like music melody or something like that. I want to say it's a UK magazine that kind of came large and folded up like newspaper style. And I just took and put it all the way across instead of cutting out the pictures. Moving on is a lot of articles. I guess that makes sense as to why I had this one here, because it does go with this sitting. I'm sure of it, right? Let's make sure I'm right. Yeah. That's probably why I had them together. This is something out of Rolling Stone. You don't see too many of these pictures. And this is a cool pass I got a long time ago. A real pass. Which was kind of neat. But the article is, they're all a bunch of different stuff from Fleetwood Mac, from Rolling Stone magazine. And this continues on, so I wonder if I had the article begun elsewhere. Probably not. Not by the looks of it. Nope, it looks like this is just a random. It's got to have the rest of the pieces somewhere. But these are pages that I made that long ago, so who knows? Pretty much the best thing of this page is this picture in this pass. And then yet again, another full page ad that would have come in. I don't know that was Rolling Stone. This was probably like Billboard or something. But again, these are all passes that I got. These are laminated. No, this is laminated, pardon me. And these two are the kind of old satin patches. Kind of had to move things around like this much in my house. My house is kind of small, and literally like just trying to reset up the way I have been. All the lighting just seems so off and shiny. So I will try to fix that moving forward. But tonight I kind of had to get this one made because I just don't have a lot of time. So moving on. So what was really funny is that, again, I told you I started getting into Fleetwood Mac right about this time. And there were two photos that were my first photos. And one is one we're going to get to. It's this session that I've shown you a picture of in the past, but we'll talk about later. And right on the heels of that was this one. And there's something, I don't know, that is my favorite photo of Stevie, my favorite photo session, the other one. But this also really means a lot. Like they're kind of neck and neck. And it's only just because, again, I just have the clearest memories of getting these photos for the first time out of magazines. And I'm not sure that I have the one out of a magazine that I first got. I don't think that one is here, but there is a magazine one that I have somewhere. But since that time, I've gotten several press kit photos, and many of them, which you're about to see, which is kind of funny. But if you'll notice, they're all kind of different. So here's the full band picture. Stevie just looks great there. I absolutely love that picture. When I was young, I cut this out of another magazine and made a copy and made like a button of just this picture. Yeah. Then we have another copy of the photo. And this is from the MTV Times. And this was for the, I don't know if a lot of you remember or not, but there was a contest that MTV had. And it was the private L-25 Learjet waits on the runway, ready to take the grand prize winner and three friends on yet another MTV Music Television one-night stand. This one with Fleetwood Mac on the concert date of their choosing during the band's national tour in September. The contest begins July 31st and runs through August, with the special on-air drawing August 29th. Winner and friends will also receive MTV tour jackets and tour hats, as well as Sony Walkmans with a complete catalog of Fleetwood Mac cassette tapes and wardrobes from Levi Strauss. I actually have somewhere also a press kit photo of the winner. There's like this picture of the jet, and then there's another one with like the winner and stuff like that. I would have died. Can you just imagine? But really, it's not about the band. It's about getting that Walkman, those cassette tapes, right? I mean, is that dated or what? But kind of funny. So that was a cool one. So that one's different. So obviously different, it's the same photo, but you have this font here and you have this here. Then you have this one, which includes the photo, but this one is really cool because this was from the album of which I shared in my album collection, Revenge of the Killer Bees. And this came out right at the same time as Mirage because Revenge of the Killer Bees included Cool Water, which at the time had been a hard B-side to get. It was the B-side of, I want to say, Gypsy, but nonetheless it was pretty rare. Funny enough, this whole album is pretty amazing. Actually, it's got a lot of great artists on it, but I've always thought it was kind of funny that they put Cool Water on there when at the time Silver Springs was still kind of a untapped song. People knew about it, but not really. But they choose to put Cool Water on there, which was still kind of cool. And really, Silver Springs did get its time later in 1997. So let Cool Water have its moment. So this here at the bottom of this one says, from left to right, Echo and the Bunnymen, Talking Heads, Fleetwood Mac, Depeche Mode, Rank and File, and the B-52s are among the artists who contributed songs to Revenge of the Killer Bees, Warner Brothers' second collection of hard-to-find flip sides and other vinyl rarities. So a cool little press kit photo from that. Then moving on, we have wait for it, there's more of that same photo. So this one is a VH1 VH1 Music First, and all these pictures are by Sam Emerson. Good to know. And VH1 will premiere Fleetwood Mac classic albums on Tuesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. The 1 hour special will feature in-studio performances, footage from the recording sessions for Rumors, and new interviews with the band. Pictured here are Lindsey Buckingham, John McVie, Christine McVie, Stevie Nicks, and Fleetwood Mac. So I think that this one came out later. I think this one might have come out in like 97 or so. I think this might have been part of the whole dance thing, because adding stuff from Rumors, that was a big resurgence for Fleetwood Mac, obviously, because it was 20 years after Rumors, the dance was. But why they chose to use this picture, I don't know. But I just think from this whole portion down here that this is a much later press photo. And then almost lastly, we have this photo yet again, just as it is. But like I said, if you haven't met me by now, you understand I have to keep them because there is different font. This is definitely the Mirage font. And this one is, what's funny is this one is real shiny. They're both shiny, but on the back, this one feels shiny on the back, whereas this one feels really paper-like. So I'm not sure what press kit or promotional piece that this one came from. But I'm going to gather that this one is legitimate and vintage with the Mirage press kit because of the font on there. That's just my assumption. So we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Not even done. Then we have, well, this is kind of cool. Actually, we are kind of done. You have it again, but this was the interview, which I've shown you guys in the past. I've had postcards and such, and these are the Jim Ladd records or radio station shows that would come out, and they're always interview. And I have a couple records of those. So this one was one that came out for Mirage, and it is members of Fleetwood Mac met with interview host Jim Ladd on 2 separate occasions. The first session, Jim spoke with Christine McVie, and the second with Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks. What was discussed was their meteoric rise to the top of the world rock and their ability to sustain their solo projects, their life with Fleetwood Mac, as well as how they hold this family together. This 2-part special on Fleetwood Mac will prove to you why Interview is a rock and roll tradition of great radio. Interview is heard over 150 America's top radio stations. Check local listings for exact time and date. Interview is written and hosted by Jim Ladd. So a cool little piece from a magazine. But what is cool is that this is albeit slightly, super slightly, pretty much just from Christine, only an outtake. Literally just her head has moved a shot. Oh, and I guess Stevie's arms are out. But I got this ages ago, and then I started getting all these, which really, really are something else. And this one is actually my favorite of Chris in this one here. Sorry. Not lightning. Sorry. This just kills me. Anybody remembers with my belladonna stuff, why are some of these blues so intense on the camera? That is just killing me. But anyway, again, Christine looks so pretty. These pictures. But I really love these outtakes. Now this one is a more vintage, older copy, and this one is a more recent development from a negative. So that could be why too. It's just the ink and such difference. But this one is kind of yellowed and paled over time. And then we'll wrap it up with some last of the ones. So basically the same session, if you will, the same building, I should say, but outside the front and on the balcony. And I forget the name, Chateau something in France, which was where they were at. Eventually I'll tell, there's a whole funny story about this photo here, but I'll gather the other photos that kind of go with it. Not the same session, but photos I purchased from a person and took forever to pay them. And it's just a funny story. But really a big fan of these ones here. So that will wrap it up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Who doesn't want to see like multiple copies of the same photos, right? Just a way to start off Mirage, but trust me, we get into so much more. I have so many, they're, again, my favorite era, and just so many great photos. And next up, we're going to be starting the whole session with these photos. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.